Hey, stop the scroll, stop the scroll. Listen, if you're a leader or you're on a team or you work in an organization where you're trying to move the organization forward, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, like this is the video for you. You see, I've had the privilege of not just pastoring a church, but also working with churches and organizations all across the country. And something that I've learned from my experience and both research and best practices is that every successful organization, whether you're a church, a nonprofit, a school, a hospital, a for-profit business, it doesn't matter. Every successful organization has these 4 things in place, and I want to give them to you real quick. The first one is that every successful organization has a very clear vision. That's right. They know exactly where they're going. They say, hey, this is where we want to be in 3 years. This is where we want to be in 5 years. This is where we want to be in 10, maybe even 20 years. A successful organization has a very clear picture of what the future looks like and how they function in the future. Now, because what a vision does is a vision, it inspires, it challenges. When you share the vision with your stakeholders or your members, they get excited, they get pumped up. The vision is both challenging and it's slightly overwhelming, because a lot of people, when they think about a compelling vision, it's like, wow, this thing might actually be bigger than who we are. Vision should kind of scare you. And so a successful organization, they have a very clear vision. But it's not enough just to have a vision, because you'll stand before your stakeholders or before your members one week and you'll say, hey guys, this is where we're going. And everyone will get pumped. And the next week you'll come back and say, hey guys, this is where we're going. And everyone will still be pumped. But after like the 3rd or 4th week, people are going to start asking the question, well, how are we going to get there, right? And that's a legitimate question. So not only do successful organizations have a very clear vision, they also have a very clear plan. That's right. They have a very clear plan on how they're going to reach that vision. If I say, hey guys, the vision is for us to go to the moon. Well, y'all will get all excited about it, but then you want to know, well, how are we going to get there? Well, we're going to build a rocket ship and we're going to launch that rocket ship from Houston, or we're going to launch it from Phoenix. I need to be able to give you a detailed plan on how exactly we're going to reach our vision, our destination. And so if you're leading or on a team in an organization, you have to have a very clear plan that spells out, hey, this is what we're going to do in 90 days. This is what we're going to do in 1 year. This is where we're going. Here is our plan of action. It's not enough just to have a vision, even though a vision is a great start. But you also have to have a plan. But it doesn't stop there, because ultimately, if you have a vision and it inspires people, and you have a plan and they can see, okay, we can make this happen, at some point, you then have to be able to execute that plan. That's right. The third thing that every successful organization has is they have the ability to execute on their plan. Now, I'll be honest with you. I can come and I can work with your organization and I can help you build out a very clear vision and a very clear plan, but the execution is up to you. The execution is up to the people who are a part of that organization, who are boots on the ground, who are there in the grind every single day. Now, in order for you to execute, you have to have, and I'm just gonna add a little IVE to the end of this. You have to have someone who has an executive mindset, someone who is a doer. You see, thinkers can come up with a vision and the plan, but you need to have someone on your team who ultimately is a doer, who says, you know what, I'm going to take this plan and I'm going to make sure we start pulling the trigger and moving this plan forward. Because it's not enough just to have a vision. It's not enough just to have a plan. At some point, you have to start executing that plan. Now, it doesn't stop there, because let's say you have a very clear vision and you have a very clear plan and you're able to execute. That's great. You got 3 out of 4. The fourth thing that every organization has is they have this ability to gather, I'm just going to call it feedback. That's right. Not only are you executing, but you're also looking around and saying, okay, are we on track? You didn't bury your head in the sand, but you're kind of up looking around saying, okay, what's going on in the external environment? If our plan is to get to the moon, our vision is to get to the moon, we have a plan of what we're going to do. We're executing that plan. But then like one day we discover that somehow the moon is no longer there, right? Crazy example. Well, we need to adjust our plan. And that's what feedback does, is that when you have good feedback, feedback will then cause you and inform what your plan is or is not. It will allow you to adjust the plan. Now, every now and again, feedback might actually cause you to make changes to the vision. However, normally it doesn't, unless something has just happened that's crazy in the external environment or in the internal environment. You might say, hey, we were going to the moon, but now we gotta scrap this thing and we're just going to Kansas. Like, it may happen that way, but most of the time, the feedback will allow you to adjust the plan to make sure that you are staying on course. You want feedback from your external environment. What are my stakeholders saying? What's the environment saying? What's the market saying? What's the community saying? But you also want feedback from your internal stakeholders. You know, what are my members saying? What are my employees saying? What are the volunteers saying? Like, what's the budget? How are things happening? And if you can get a good feedback system, and I'm not talking about one of those feedback systems where it's once a year you pick up your head from the sand and you look around. No, I'm talking about every week we're looking at metrics. Every week we're looking at a dashboard. Every week we're saying, okay, how are things going? Well, how are we compared to year over year? Last year, this time, where were we? And you're making tweaks and adjustment along the way. Now, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of this is easier said than done, but it can be done if you become an intentional leader and you build around yourself an intentional team that will make sure, yes, we have a vision, yes, we have a plan, yes, we are executing on our plan, and we are going to embrace feedback, a rhythm of feedback into our daily operations. You will, I promise you, you will in time become one of those successful organizations that other people will look at and say, man, I wonder what they're doing over there. Now, obviously, this is an oversimplification of the process. You could easily double click on each one of these and realize that there are steps and tools and resources and time and energy that go into you actually building out each one of these. It takes time. I just wanted to give you a 30,000-foot view perspective on what successful organizations, the framework that successful organizations have in place. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to look at your own organization, your own team, and say, do we have a clear vision? Do we have a detailed plan? Are we leaning into execution? And is there systems built in that will give us feedback to how we're doing? And if you don't have one of these in place, I want you to stop what you're doing, pull your team together, and start working on how can we lean into and shore up each one of these so that we will have the proper framework in place in order for us to be successful. I would love to hear about what you're doing. I would love to hear about your successes. And if you're having some struggles, please let me know, and I would love to help you. All right? Have a wonderful day. Peace.